As we have seen time and time again during this pandemic, President Trump blames everybody else for his administration's slow and erratic response. That includes, of course, his predecessor, President Barack Obama.
You are preparing for a pandemic. If this government were preparing for a pandemic, why is it we don't have enough masks? Why is it we don't have enough medical equipment in this country?
Previous administrations gave us very little ammunition for the military and very little shelf space. Let me just tell you, you know it. You know the answer. The previous administration, the shelves were empty. The shelves were empty. So what you should do is speak to the people from the previous administration, Jim, and ask them that question, because the shelves were empty. No, I don't take responsibility at all, because we were given a set of circumstances, and we were given rules, regulations, and specifications from a different time. Wasn't meant for this kind of an event.
Well, today, the former President Barack Obama spoke virtually to a gathering of mayors and local leaders from around the world. And I want to read part of his message to them. And I quote, he said, "Speak the truth. Speak it clearly. Speak it with compassion. Speak it with empathy for what folks are going through. The biggest mistake any of us can make in these situations is to misinform, particularly when we are requiring people to make sacrifices and take actions that might not be their natural inclination. Speak the truth. Don't misinform." Who do you think those words were directed to? And he went on. The more smart people you have around you and the less embarrassed you are to ask questions, the better your response is going to be. Words notably different in tone than what we witness on a daily basis from the Trump White House. President Trump also likes to say that nobody saw the pandemic coming. Really? Well, here's a warning from President Barack Obama back in 2014.
There may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease that is deadly. And in order for us to deal with that effectively, we have to put in place an infrastructure, not just here at home, but globally, that allows us to see it quickly, isolate it quickly, respond to it quickly. So that if and when a new strain of flu, like the Spanish flu, crops up 5 years from now or a decade from now, we've made the investment. And we're further along to be able to catch it.
And guess what? The former president was not politicizing the possibility of a pandemic on the horizon. He was sending a message to Congress at the time that a deadly pandemic is not a partisan issue.
I cannot think of a better example of an area where we should all agree than passing this emergency funding to fight Ebola and to set up some of the public health infrastructure that we need to deal with potential outbreaks in the future. How do you argue with that? That is not a partisan issue. That is a basic common sense issue that all Americans can agree on. For the most part, people have recognized this is not a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. It's about the safety and security of the American people. So let's get it done. This can't get caught up in normal politics. We need to protect the American people, and we need to show the world how America leads.
He said 5 years in that speech. It was exactly 5 years. So instead of blaming the former administration, maybe he should take advice from the former president. Maybe he should take advice from former presidents who have been there before, instead of saying, "I alone can fix this." America needs to lead in the battle against coronavirus, and President Trump needs to stop dividing the American people. He needs to stop blaming his predecessor, who set a totally different tone, a presidential tone. And tonight, more than 462,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus in this country. More than 16,500 deaths.